Dude, is that a thrift store jacket, or did you crawl out of 1984? The laughter echoed off the cafeteria walls, bouncing from table to table like a cruel ripple. Miles Parker didn't flinch. He never did. At 16, he had learned the hard way how to make himself invisible. Thin, pale, with a shy voice and sunken shoulders, he had become a regular target. But today they had a new reason to laugh: his jacket. It hung awkwardly on his narrow frame, military green, worn down, frayed sleeves. The name tag above the chest had nearly faded to nothing, and a strange red and gold patch was barely holding on to the shoulder. He wore it every Friday, always with the same quiet reverence. And every week, someone new mocked him for it. "Bet he found that thing in a dumpster," someone sneered from behind. "Smells like mothballs and sad." Miles stayed quiet. His fingers instinctively reached up to the patch. The fabric was old, but it meant something. Something more than they knew. That morning, the school gym was buzzing with noise. The annual Veterans Day assembly was a formality for most. Flags, folding chairs, a student choir, and bored teenagers checking their phones. A few local veterans were already seated near the stage, but no one was prepared for the final guest speaker. She arrived unannounced. General Eleanor Griggs entered the gym with a commanding stride. Her uniform was sharp, her medals and 4 stars shining under the gymnasium lights. She was tall and powerful, with striking features, broad shoulders, proud posture, and a naturally curvy build that demanded attention but gave none. She walked like someone who had been through war and come back stronger. The principal stepped forward to greet her, but she barely noticed. Her eyes were scanning the crowd, and then she stopped, her gaze locked onto Miles. The moment was electric. She began moving through the seated students, past teachers and veterans, until she stood directly in front of him. Miles looked up, confused, his classmates frozen in silent shock. "Where did you get that jacket?" Her voice was firm, commanding. Miles stood slowly, clearing his throat. "It belonged to my grandfather, Staff Sergeant Roger Parker. He served in Vietnam. He died before I was born." General Eleanor Griggs blinked slowly. Her voice softened just enough to shake the air. "That patch, that is from the Recon Lightning Unit. I have not seen one in years. It was awarded to only a handful of soldiers. Your grandfather must have been one of them." She turned to the audience now. Students who had been laughing minutes ago stared wide-eyed. "That patch signifies one of the most dangerous recon units of the Vietnam War. During the Battle of Dak To, 32 men went in. Only 6 made it out. They volunteered for missions most refused. Your grandfather's name, I knew it. He was a legend. He saved lives. He trained me." Gasps spread across the gym. "I was a private when your grandfather taught me to stay calm under enemy fire," she continued. "He pulled me from a downed vehicle while under heavy fire and refused to be evacuated until everyone else was safe. That man is one of the reasons I became a leader. And that jacket, that is not fashion. That is legacy." And then General Elena Griggs did something no one expected. She stood straight, brought her hand to her brow, and saluted him. A 4-star general saluting a boy in a cafeteria. Miles trembled. He stood as tall as he could and returned the salute, every muscle in his body shaking. The room erupted. First it was the veterans, rising to their feet, then the teachers. Then the students, the entire gym filled with applause, not for the general, but for the quiet boy in the jacket. Afterward, as students crowded around, General Eleanor Griggs leaned in and said quietly, "Wear it with pride, Miles. He would be proud of you." From that day forward, no one teased the jacket. In fact, Miles wore it with his head high, because now everyone knew what it meant. So what seems worn or old may be stitched with valor. Never judge someone by what they wear, because behind the fray may be a story worth saluting. Before we end this story, let us know in the comment, where are you watching from? If this story touched you, subscribe to the channel and hit that like button and drop a karma in the comments below.